Okay, let's open up a case file. And this one, well, this one goes way beyond a simple break-in. We're talking about a deliberate, methodical attack on someone's very perception of reality. You could call it a psychological home invasion.
We think he enjoyed watching people doubt themselves. That's a direct quote from the investigating detective, and it really gets to the twisted heart of this case. See, the motive wasn't theft. It was about control, about getting a thrill from making someone question their own mind.
So our story begins in a pretty standard Chicago apartment, but over 3 months, it became the scene of this bizarre, ongoing series of events that were completely unexplainable. Events that pushed the person living there right to the absolute edge. And you can see how it escalated over this 91-day period. It started with just a minor oddity in January, but it was methodical. By February, the resident was so worried they were actually seeking medical and therapeutic help. And by March, it had become a full-blown crisis, convincing them that they were having a serious mental breakdown.
Now, the first crucial piece of evidence in this entire investigation, it didn't come from a crime lab. It actually came from the victim. They kept a detailed journal, and this journal ended up being the key to everything.
And look at how it starts. January 9th, a mug was moved. I mean, that's so small, right? It's the kind of thing any of us would just dismiss. You'd think, oh, I must have forgotten. But it wasn't a lapse in memory. It was the first move in a very calculated game.
A month later, things get more concerning. A bathroom window is unlocked, and the resident is certain they locked it. They check it every single night. So now you're going from, am I a little forgetful, to, is something seriously wrong with me? Is my home safe? Each little event was designed to just chip away at their reality.
And then, this happens. This was the breaking point. Waking up in the middle of the night to find your front door not just unlocked, but wide open. The chain unhooked. This is the moment you'd move past confusion and into genuine fear, probably for your own sanity.
So, after talking with doctors, what's the most plausible theory? It has to be that the resident is doing all of this themselves during some kind of stress-induced blackout with no memory of it. Think about that. The victim became the primary suspect in their own case.
Facing what they genuinely believed was their own mind deteriorating, the resident made one last, kind of desperate attempt to find an objective answer.
You really have to appreciate the mindset here. That journal, which started as a way to track what was going on, now felt like a record of their own mental decline. So they set up a camera. But get this, they didn't set it up to catch an intruder. They set it up to catch themselves.
But on the 4th night of recording, that camera caught the truth, and it changed the entire direction of the case. This was the moment where all that subjective fear finally collided with cold, hard, objective fact.
Here it is, the breakthrough. The footage shows the door opening, a figure walking right in, moving things around, even grabbing some food from the fridge. And the whole time, the resident is sound asleep. That theory about dissociation? Shattered. This was a home invasion.
With that chilling video, the police finally had a real, concrete lead. The case immediately shifted. This wasn't a psychological puzzle anymore. It was a criminal manhunt. And the investigation moved fast. Step 1, analyze the lock. No forced entry means it was picked or bypassed. Step 2, check the records. Police cross-referenced the building's maintenance logs, and a name popped up, a former employee fired about 8 months before. The final piece of the puzzle? He had never returned his master key. The method was designed to be untraceable, to make it all seem impossible.
And this just lays it out so clearly. You see the two realities, side by side. For the victim, mysterious, terrifying, confusing events. For the perpetrator, just cold, simple actions. Every single unexplainable thing had a chillingly simple and malicious explanation.
Which brings us right back to the core question of the whole investigation. Why? What was the motive? This wasn't about robbery, so why do all this? Why these specific, strange actions?
The intruder didn't steal valuables. They stole 3 months of the victim's confidence in their own mind. The real crime here was the theft of their sanity.
You know, the biggest lesson from this case file is a really powerful one. First, trust your instincts. And second, document everything. The victim's journal, which they were terrified was proof of their own failing mind, ironically became the very evidence that validated their gut feeling and ultimately solved the case. It's a wild reminder that a feeling of being crazy can itself be a sign that something is being done to you.
Ultimately, this whole case file just leaves us with a really disturbing question. It reveals just how fragile our own perception of reality can be, and how easily and systematically it can be dismantled by someone from the outside.